I'd probably call myself both an adventurer and an explorer. There's certainly enough things in my life that go wrong to turn situations into very big adventures. I explore our relationship with nature through animal behaviour. I explore the frontiers of animal minds in a way, trying to understand them, trying to penetrate into that alien intelligence. I think it's very important that we break down these barriers that seem to exist increasingly between the urban environment and the natural world. Every time I go out into the wilderness and every time I interact with a new animal, be it a tiger or a polar bear or a leopard, I fall head over heels in love with that particular animal at that time. Rhino are very maligned. People tend to think that they're bad-tempered, aggressive, short-sighted, and all they do is have a charge. That's true a lot of the time, but it's because of the way that we approach them. That rhino actually are far more social than you'd imagine, that they actually can almost be called social butterflies. I think what's so sad is that we're destroying so much in nature right now before we even know what it is, before we've even had a chance to explore it fully. And we know so little about these animals. And yet, if you just allow them to be what they are, and you just allow them to live out their lives in front of you, it is the most phenomenal experience. I'm much more aware of the role of the mother now, and how important that is in teaching your children to be good, conscious citizens, and in teaching them to have empathy and compassion, or encouraging those feelings in them. The one area that women really have excelled in is the study of animal behaviour, which I see very much as a new frontier. And that's because women are much more interested in interpersonal relations. They're interested in the intrigues of a relationship. And so naturally they're more open to looking at that in other species. My favourite quote is something my grandmother said to me once when I was going through a period of sort of a difficult period in my life. I think I'd been heartbroken, and she said to me, she said, "Saba, you must look outside at the beauty of the world and not rest on the turmoil within." I love something that was written in Lawrence of Arabia's book, 7 Pillars of Wisdom, where he's talking about the Bedouin taking him to this ruined palace in the middle of a desert where the king had built each room with different essential oils. He'd mixed the clay with jasmine and rose, and as they moved from room to room in this palace, they would sniff and they'd say, "This is the room of jasmine, this is the room of the rose." But then they came to one wall where there was this great gaping hole, and the hot desert wind was pounding in their faces, and they sniffed the air and they said, "But this is the best scent of all." Adventure for adventure's sake, after a while, can be a little bit shallow. But if there's something that you passionately believe in and that you pursue, then anything is possible. I believe very much in the interconnectedness of all things. You have these amazing forests that seed clouds, and then the rain that nurtures the earth, and then the elephants that reseed the forests, and the forests that create the air that we breathe. I think that it's incredibly important that we commit ourselves to preserving nature. Not nature on its own, but preserving biodiversity, this rich fabric of life upon which we all depend.